And officially begin. Good morning and welcome to the 2021 Character and Civic Education Recognition Awards Showcase. My name is Dr. Jessica Hannigan. I am the director of the Bonner Center for Character Education and Citizenship. It is my honor to continue this work with Dr. Benega and our amazing Bonner Advisory Board. We couldn't have done this without you all, so we appreciate all the backseat time you've invested in looking at applications, helping with school visits, and all that you've done. So we appreciate you so much. I would also like to recognize the superintendents who have schools represented here today. Superintendent Todd Lyle, Madera Unified, Superintendent Cheryl Hunt, Lemoore Union Elementary School District, Superintendent Rich Merlot, Corcoran Unified, and Superintendent Dr. Emer O'Farrell, Clovis Unified. I also want to give a special shout out to Clovis Unified for having the most number of schools being recognized today. In addition to all of them, I would like to thank Jim Iovino, Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, for not only being on our advisory board, but being relentless about this character and education work. So we appreciate your leadership and support of character and civic education. I also want to thank Dr. Mabel Franks and the team for allowing us to jump on with the Welty Center Leadership Conference to celebrate our amazing middle and high schools today. Thank you all so much. So without further ado, it is my honor to hand it over to our amazing new dean, Dr. Randy Urich, to share a few words.
Good morning, everyone. Begin by thanking Dr. Jessica Hannigan, who has taken up where I got left off as the new director of the Bonner Center School of Development. For more than 3 decades, the Bonner Center has awards for character education, and from my read, it's long-standing effort in recognizing the role of character and values and responsibility explicitly by schools. Long legacy that we partake in today, and I thank everyone in the Bonner Center who perform reviews, and we're indebted to the sponsors that support this event and all the people behind the scenes that make this possible. But most importantly, I want to welcome and congratulate all the recipients and the attendees and representatives who come together to celebrate the recipient. We have much to be proud of today, and we celebrate you. There's a lot of debate, amount of lore associated with formal days of the common school movement of Horace Mann, where we thought that developing character was one of the central roles that we would be doing through a public school movement. However, when I think about the central role of character and values developed in public education, and I think back to Stanford, where Walter Mischel has been studying instant gratification for over 40 years through a simple experiment, the marshmallow experiment. I've used this for more than 10 years in my 4th grade Sunday school class, and I continue to be amazed at how parents are familiar with this seminal work. And visit YouTube and look up the marshmallow experiment, where children from ages 4 to 6 are put before them a marshmallow and told that if we just wait 15 minutes, they can have 2. And the struggles that the children have, think about whether or not they're going to have their instant gratification, that they're going to wait, have 2 later on. It's both adorable and harrowing to look at the ways that children are struggling with character and decisions and ethics from very early ages. I would share just 90 seconds from that video with you, but you can look it up on YouTube yourself if you just look at the marshmallow experiment and then think for yourself, what does that mean about how we go about educating children at very young ages? It shows that it's never too early to learn about patience and for helping children understand the value of character. In this age, we face some important challenges in COVID environment. Remind you also that before the pandemic ever began, before we were ever hit COVID-19, there were concerns about consumerism in front of the internet. If you refer to the Shallows, for example, wrote about how and why the internet is built for instant gratification in learning, and why to an internet-based inquiry may be harming students in the long term for being able to promise them the rewards of finding what they want. Having an information highway actually turned into more of a information garbage heap. Students have to wade through instead of being able to just find and trust in that they may be getting from solid texts or their teacher who. Alan November yesterday talked about the value of work ethic and how we need to establish it within our society, what role schools play within it. And I will remind us that work ethic is being attacked today, just in children, but it's being attacked in grown-ups. That we're being told that we're not what we used to be. And so I would encourage everyone to push back on that. I would about the amount of toil and hard work and dedication it takes to hold a working ethic while you're in isolation or while you're experiencing trauma, because we are better and we can be better. If you want further information about how it's affecting our society, you may pick up a book by Jean Twenge, San State, who talked about the of children in today's age, iGen and iGen discussion about how we prepare the youth today for being grown-ups, taking roles of leadership in society. And if you haven't seen The Social Dilemma and the effect that what spending lots of time on screen does to us, you should definitely watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. But with regard to how we handle today, we handle today with great. The people who have stood up, who have said, I am going to be a person of good character. I'm going to build how individuals with good character. So as we go about today's festivities, remember, us men in the center are all about character education and looking to the future. Beside you, your partners, interested in creating a better future for all through service, leadership, the celebration of students, teachers, leaders, schools like you who value character development here in California. Thank you and congratulations to you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yurek. It is now my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Benega to share an overview and the official announcement of our winning schools.
Thank you, Jessica. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Bonner Center for Character Education's annual showcase of exemplary schools. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dr. Jack Benega, and I'm on the Bonner Center's advisory board. The Bonner Center is a university Jeff, can you hold that slide until the end, and I'll just let you, I'll let you know when, because I'm going to announce it officially. And yeah, great. That's fine. Or you can spotlight me. I'm on the Bonner Center's advisory board. The Bonner Center is a university ancillary unit of the Kremen School of Education and Human Development and has recognized outstanding schools of character annually for over 3 decades. We are here today to present awards and to hear from this year's winners of our Virtues and Character Recognition Award. Many schools in our Central Valley have developed and implemented plans to ensure that values and character development are an overt part of each child's school life. It is those exemplary schools that we're going to recognize here today. Our Virtues and Character Recognition Award program is the longest running such program in the country. For the past 34 years, the Bonner Center for Character Education's advisory board has sponsored the Virtues and Character Recognition Awards to recognize schools in our area that are exemplary in addressing their district's character and civic education programs. And most districts have one of those programs. Each year, applications are made available to either all of the elementary schools or all middle schools and high schools in our 4-county area of Central California. The application asks each school to think about its program in character and civic education as defined by its district, and ask each school to address a series of questions. After the applications are returned, they are screened, then finalist schools are selected, and then site visits are made to those finalist schools, and finally, winners are announced. This year, our focus was on middle schools and high schools. As might be expected, each of the winning schools has addressed the issue of character and civic education in a different manner. Yet, even in this difficult COVID year, a set of common characteristics are representative of all of these outstanding schools. Each of these schools promotes core ethical values as the basis of good character. Each of these schools fosters an intentional and comprehensive approach to those core values, and each school provides students with opportunities for moral action in the form of service to their school or community. Those of you who are credential students out there at Fresno State and Fresno Pacific, our future teachers, will play a crucial role in the preparation of students for full participation in our democratic society. Each of you, our future teachers, will be responsible for the character development of your future students. Our hope is that you will do so in a constructive and knowledgeable manner, and that you'll be able to teach in a school like the ones that we're going to recognize today. Many of you may have graduated from one of these schools, and you'll be excited. You should be. In this difficult year, these schools have done a remarkable job. After I announce the winning schools, I'll turn the program back over to our director, Dr. Jessica Hannigan. She will introduce representatives from each of the schools who will share with you signature components of their programs. And they should be models for what you might anticipate doing yourself one day. So I think, Jeff, we're ready for the slide. The 2021 winners of the Bonner Center's Virtues and Character Recognition Award are Clovis High School, Clovis Unified School District; Desmond Middle School, Madera Unified School District; Clark Intermediate School, Clovis Unified School District; Sanger High School, Sanger Unified School District; Clovis North High School, Clovis Unified School District; Granite Ridge Intermediate School, Clovis Unified School District; John Muir Middle School, Corcoran Unified School District; Alta Sierra Intermediate School, Clovis Unified School District; Liberty Middle School, Lemoore Union Elementary School District; and Kasner Intermediate School, Clovis Unified School District. And now I'll turn the program back over to Dr. Hannigan for further instructions and introductions, but congratulations to these wonderful schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Benega. And I just want to sincerely apologize. I forgot an amazing superintendent in the superintendent recognition, Superintendent Adela Jones from Sanger Unified. You got a little special thank you here. I apologize, I didn't catch you at the beginning, but thank you so much. Also, Sanger Unified is represented here today. Okay, with great honor, I am so excited to now hand over the showcase to our amazing schools and students. And like Dr. Benega mentioned, this award was already difficult to achieve prior to the pandemic. So just imagine the continued dedication of these schools to try their best to continue this character and civic education work during the pandemic. And you'll see that come through as they're sharing today. So I am going to hand it over to our first school, Clovis High School. Please introduce yourselves and begin sharing your best practices. Thank you.
Morning. My name is Daniel Bravo. I am the activities director here at Clovis High School. I want to thank Dr. Hannigan for this opportunity, our panelists as well, and congratulations to all our schools for achieving such an accomplishment, especially during distance learning and as this is happening. So I also want to thank my principal, Stephanie Hanks, for allowing me the opportunity to speak on behalf of our high school and our community here at Clovis High. I'd like to begin with talking a little bit about how we started some of these things that we're doing on our campus. And so I'm going to speak to the past 3 years work that we've done here at Clovis High. And I believe it begins with our vision that we've established here. And so I'm going to share that vision with you. Our vision for Clovis High is to connect today's students to tomorrow's opportunities. From there, our principal and a committee of teachers and staff got together and created our student learner outcomes based off of our vision here at Clovis High. And so our student learner outcomes for Clovis High, it's this phrase that says, we believe that successful Cougars growl. And you can see our poster here that we have. This poster is actually hung up. It's in every single classroom, in all the hallways, in all our main buildings, like our library, our counseling center, the main office, and other various buildings on campus. And basically the growl is an acronym for different things, characteristics that we want to foster here in our students at Clovis High. And so I'll just name what those stand for. The G is for goal oriented. We believe that all our students can be goal oriented and we can help our students develop those skills. We believe that all students should be respected. Students and staff should be respected. And we'll talk a little bit about how we do that here at Clovis High. The O stands for opportunity, providing opportunities to all students, developing work ethic, and the L for leadership. And so our student leader, Catherine Maffeo, will talk more in detail and what our students are actually really doing with the student or the successful Cougars Growl poster with her team mind that she leads here at Clovis High. We also developed our staff agreements that was recently put together last year. And so this was, staff came together at the beginning of the year and we all came up with different things that we believe that we're going to be committed to throughout the next couple of years here. And so our staff agreements, which is, it's not illustrated here, but our staff agreements, we said that we were going to foster positivity in all our classrooms. The next point is consistent accountability, holding ourselves accountable to things that we say we were going to do and commit to. And the last part was to support co-curriculars. When we had the opportunity to share with the Bonner Committee, and our students actually had the opportunity to share with them some of the things that happen on campus, to hear our students talk about how they appreciate when their teachers show up to some of their games or when they show up to their performances that they have, and just how appreciative they were of their teachers speaks to the culture that I believe we are building here at Clovis High School. So I'll talk a little bit too about some of the practices and what I like to say is some of the initiatives that we are really working on here at Clovis High and kind of the framework to what all this is built upon. So last year, we were able to get all our teachers to be culturally relevant teachers here at Clovis High through our AVID training. So Clovis Unified has provided a lot of training here for our teachers and our staff to go through the culture relevant teaching trainings and through some of the AVID practices that take place. We also have done a lot of work with this. I know I can speak to one department here, our biology department, and I've pictured them here on the right side. And so we've actually developed from the culture relevant teaching trainings that we went through with Dr. Akua and with AVID, we've come up with the student creed that all our students who come through our classrooms, we recite this at the beginning of every period. And basically it's to help put our mindset that education provides an opportunity to all students and how we can get every student to be able to achieve at their maximum potential. And so this picture here is actually, we put together what we called a biology symposium at the beginning of the year. And we tell a little bit about our story as teachers and our perspective of education and how it provides opportunities. And we get to also hear from our students. They share their stories and their perspective of education as well. It's just a great way to develop community with this is actually our freshmen, but all our ninth graders. This was last year received this. And so I know our biology department's continuing in this process as well. Um, and I think these are important pieces to talk about, especially when you talk about building collective teacher efficacy on your campuses. And so not only did our teachers go through the training, but they are continuing the work within their PLCs, and they are implementing these practices in their instructional practices as well. So some of the next steps that we look forward to continue doing here at Clovis High, we look forward to continue building our and accepting culture here at Clovis High. Continue by celebrating the diversity that we have here as well. And I'll speak to one more thing before I pass this on to our student leader, Catherine. But another piece that is very strong here is we've done what's called family groups. And so this is something that is built into our schedule here at Clovis High. It is, we meet once a month in our second period classes, and it's time that's designated to lessons that are developed by teachers. And we also have our students who take a look at these lessons before we actually push these out to all our classes. And these lessons are developed around character. And so we talk about different things. We talk about, one of the lessons was called perspectives, and how others perceive how different perspectives of things. And so we talked about an appreciation for how others might perceive things. So that's how these lessons are developed, and what they are focused on. So at this time, I'm going to introduce you to our student leader. It's Catherine Maffeo. She currently is our ASB of Student Health and Wellness here at Clovis High. She and her team have done amazing things. They provide the student perspective. They work closely with administrators and staff members as they build what they do. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to Catherine Maffeo.
Thank you, Mr. Bravo. As Bravo was saying, I, as ASB Commissioner of Health and Wellness, have been able to lead a group that we call Team Mind, where myself and leadership students partner with our mental health services team at Clovis High School. And we basically provide resources and mental health tips and push those out to our Clovis High, not only our students, but our community as a whole through our Instagram page. And we at Clovis High have like an excellent mental health support team to help students with our social emotional needs, especially at a time where distance learning, that's so important. And so we have discussed important issues regarding the stigma of mental health, suicide prevention awareness, seasonal affective disorder, and we've also touched on recently the different letters and aspects of the GRAL and how those letters can be implemented into the student body to provide a better mindset and ultimate well-being. And we also send out daily reminders through the app Remind, which I'm sure many of you are probably familiar with, but these messages can include reminders to practice self-care or just taking a moment to de-stress. And I know a lot of students really need that daily reminder to just look at maybe during class or after school or in the morning, just a little boost of confidence. And like Bravo was saying with our family groups, from a student perspective, those really help us connect and engage not only with our second period peers, but also our teachers. It gives us a time to bond and connect with them on more than just an educational level. So one of the most prominent lessons that we've had last year revolved around the short story, The Coffee Bean, where we learned that, just like a coffee bean, we as students should be able to succeed and transform the environment around us rather than, just crumbling or isolating ourselves. Within this lesson, all of our staff members had stickers that said "Be the Bean" on them, and they were posted in their classrooms. Some people had them on their laptops, and it was a great way to implement those lessons that showed us to not only be a great leader, but serve the people around us. And so I know a lot of people look to the Be the Bean stickers, and that just served as a reminder, and it was a great way to implement it, not only in family groups, but throughout the school year. Another thing that Bravo touched on earlier was the mutual respect contract. So all of our students signed this large poster in the amphitheater, as you can see on the image on your left, where we all signed that, vowing to like show respect to every student on our campus. And these lessons, our family groups, and all of these activities that take place, they're intended to build stronger leaders on campus. But not only that, they help show students, they give students the drive and the motivation to want to help other people around them. And so we could see that through many of our clubs and co-curricular activities, especially through distance learning. A lot of them had found ways through Zoom to stay connected and involved. So our UNICEF Club has organized their annual toy drive this past December. And during the Creek fires, we organized a donation drive for supplies for the firefighters and those who fell victim to the fire. And plus we were able to hold our annual canned food drive this past Thanksgiving. And so like, while many of us have been separated due to distance learning, Clovis High has continuously found ways for not only our students, but like our community as a whole to stay connected, which is really great. And I think that's all thanks to the lessons like the growl and family groups that we've talked about earlier that really create better students and overall just better individuals. So that's pretty much. I'll hand it back.
Thank you both so much. Congratulations again. Thank you so much. Our next amazing school, Desmond Middle School. I'm going to hand it over to the representatives from Desmond.
Thank you, Jessica. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amanda Rame, and I am one of the vice principals here at Desmond Middle School within Madera Unified. I have presenting with me Madison Turner, who is our ASB Vice President. I'll have her speak a little bit as we go through this presentation. Before we begin, I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Hannigan for this opportunity to showcase all of our work here at Desmond. I just also want to say congratulations to all the schools that are panelists here. I know that it's been hard trying to modify things through distance learning, so kudos to you, great job. And I also wanted to just give a shout out to our DMS staff that's also watching. So thank you for representing us and coming to watch our showcase. So something that I wanted to just highlight a little bit, I wanted to share traditionally what our behavior expectations or our PBIS look like so that everybody has an idea of how we've modified that for distance learning. So here at Desmond, we practice the P5s. So our P5s stand for prepared, prompt, positive, polite, and productive. With those P5s, our teachers in the past with their PBIS team have created the behavior matrix, along with, as you can see on our slide on the far right-hand corner, we have signage all over our campus that shows our P5s along with what's expected through the behavior expectations of our matrix. Traditionally, teachers would take students around campus in a gallery walk or passport day, and they would teach those expectations and model appropriate behaviors for the students relating to those P5s. Also, for our reinforcers, our incentives, our teachers would give out tickets to our students that were exhibiting some of the P5s. On Fridays, those students that had earned a ticket had the opportunity at lunchtime to go and grab a treat. So maybe it was a snow cone that day or cotton candy and just cash in their tickets for treats. So traditionally, that's kind of a little bit about what we did here at Desmond. Now, trying to modify something like that through distance learning has been difficult, but I am just so proud of our PBIS team that has come together and really worked tirelessly trying to find ways to connect to students, to connect to our parents, and just to get everyone on board. So something that we did here is we did We still kept with the tickets, but to teach those expectations, because we still have our P5s, and virtually to teach those expectations, as you can see on the left-hand side, our counselors and our administrative team had recorded videos that were played for the students the first week of school as an introduction to what the P5s are and kind of their expectations in the different areas. So I can speak a little bit to mine. So I recorded a video about being positive. So I put the students through a 30-minute lesson where I talked to the students of what it means to be positive. I went over the behavior matrix with those students and provided some activities that the teachers could play and pause throughout all their classes. So that was something that we did. We also did the refresh. So when we came back after winter break, we recorded a new set of videos that were played to our students on a Tuesday with an emphasis in goal setting. So that was something that we really wanted to focus on specifically for our PBIS team and our AVID teams as well. So we had goal setting there. Also for students to be rewarded for their P5 behavior, we came together as a team and we decided that we would create like a Google Sheet. Since most of our teachers have been working from home, collecting tickets wasn't the easiest. So through that Google Sheet for the week, our teachers would type in names of students that earned tickets. And our PBIS coordinator, Melissa Fuentes, she took charge of that, and she would pull student names every week. And each week, students would be rewarded maybe something Desmond swag. So maybe it was a sweatshirt or a water bottle or a backpack. And here on our site too, we have safety officers, and every Friday our safety officers would drive to those homes and deliver the P5 rewards to those 5 students that were selected. Something else that we did, our community has really came together. So we got Mountain Mike's Pizza and Round Table Pizza. They donated 5 pizzas to us each month. So at the end of each month, we would draw another 5 names for a second place or second chance drawing. And our safety officers, again, would drive to those homes and deliver pizzas to the students that won. As you can see, I put some visuals there. I know I linked some videos, but I'll just speak to it. Just our safety officers have gone above and beyond, connecting with our families. Our students have been so happy to be selected, and it kind of just brings that community together for us. Also, something else that we have been doing here at Desmond is in the realms of alternative discipline. So we have an SRC teacher, which the Student Responsibility Center. Currently, we've just kind of been trying to prepare for what our behavior will look like when we come back. So our SRC teacher, along with all of the other middle school SRC teachers, kind of created some alternative discipline lessons within a Google Classroom that are shared throughout the secondary. Probably like most of you haven't really experienced much discipline behind the screen. We're in the same boat, but we just kind of wanted to get prepared for what that might look like when we come back to campus. So that's some of our best practices. I also wanted to highlight our Zoom expectations. So in the top corner or in the top middle, we created Zoom expectations that our teachers go over at the beginning of their lessons that relate to the P5s. So daily, our students are getting access to those P5 expectations, and as well on Tuesday when we provide them with our SEL, our second step lessons that they go over as well. So that's just kind of something that we do here at Desmond. Up here on the left-hand corner is also a video. We record our drawings each week and we post that to the staff. I know our leadership teacher also sends it out to all of the students so they get to see who amongst them won for the week. We also have Parent Square, which is a communication network that we can send videos out to our families. And so we're just really trying to connect with everybody as best as we can through this distance learning. And I am just so happy to represent Desmond and all of the hard work that they've been doing. I also want to turn it over to our ASB Vice President, Madison Turner, as she had some things that she wanted to share in relation to the P5s as well.
Thank you, Ms. Ream. I want to talk about how the P5 characteristics have affected me on campus and outside of campus. Those boards that are placed around campus have really affected me by putting the visual in my head of what they are. So now every time I go somewhere and I want to have a good behavior, I can see that board in my head, and it always reminds me to be prompt, prepared, productive, positive, and polite. They have made me a better person, not just a student, but a person. They made me stronger and more confident in myself. And it's really helped during distance learning as well, because you do get down on yourself. Another thing I want to talk about is what I like best about the P5 system. And the P5 system is just amazing, and it has really brought joy to a lot of our students at Desmond, especially this year during distance learning. I love that students feel like they are making themselves proud, like they feel like they are doing something good, which is really good. You can tell when they start getting happy that they're getting P5 tickets, they just pay more attention in class, and they're more there. It's not just black screens anymore. I love that we're rewarding students for good behavior, and showing that good behavior will get you places, and it will really help you throughout middle school and high school. The safety officers deliver the rewards, and it really has brought a lot of joy to the students. My brother's in 7th grade, and he has got a pizza, and I could just tell in his face that he was just so much more happier, and he has been striving to get P5 tickets now all the time. It's really made him a better student, just that one time getting the pizza. I know a lot of students, they're feeling really lonely during distance learning, and to see the safety officers come by their home for a good reason, it makes them very happy, and it just helps them overall. And during school, we would cash in our tickets, like Ms. Ream said, and it would bring the students together. I remember on Fridays, it was every Friday, and once a month, we would have a student versus teacher, or teacher versus teacher, or student versus student competition. That would be during the P5 handouts, and we would be eating our treats and watching the game, and you could just see the joy on students' faces. And it was really amazing to see. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it back over.
Thank you both so much, and the amazing team at Desmond for all you're doing for our students. Next, we have Clark, Intermediate.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Kristen Perkins, the GIS at Clark Intermediate. We are so thankful to have been given this award and honored to be among this group of schools that are all doing fabulous things. It's been fun to hear the 2 schools so far. I'd also like to take a moment to thank my principal, Teresa Barber, for kind of leading the charge and everything that we've done. It's been quite a journey to get here, and I know part of what we look for, or what the panel looks for in these awards, is the growth we've made over time. I've been fortunate enough to be a teacher at Clark for, let's see, this is my 6th year here. So I was a teacher 5 years prior to becoming a GIS this year. And just having seen the journey we've taken as a school site, it's been quite fabulous. So I'll start with, it started with when Teresa came, her motto of we are Clark Chieftains, we take care of each other, take care of this place, and take care of yourself. And it kind of started that idea that we're here to take care of things, not just ourselves, but this place and each other. And we recognized quite quickly that it's like, and I'll quote Dr. Hannigan, not quote, but do my best to kind of sum up that idea that we don't send, when a kid is struggling to read, we don't send them home and expect them to come back being an expert at reading. It's the same with behavior, right? We don't expect students to come to us as experts on behavior. So we really recognized it's our charge to build up and teach character and good behavior. Along with that, our area superintendent, Dr. Dilley, introduced us to the Positivity Project. And that has really led the charge here at Clark as far as making a difference for our students, making a difference for our teachers, and really giving us that SEL curriculum that has made a difference on this campus. With that, it kind of began, you don't want to make drastic change overnight, right? So we started with our AP classes, our academic block classes, in which some of our teachers, took on this positivity project to teach character to their students, kind of pilot it out, so to speak. And they found great success, started sharing it with their colleagues, and it just spread. That's been the most fantastic thing to see as far as our growth, is just that people have just embraced the idea that yes, we need to teach character, and this is a great way to do so. The Positivity Project really does focus on 24 character strengths, and that's what we teach our students. It rotates through weekly, and so there's a focus every week of the school year. With all of that, we kind of have then morphed into, we recognized through our PASA group, it's our Principals Advisory Student Group, that there was a need. Students were asking us for more. They were hungry for more of an emotional and relational connection with their teachers. And, just knowing the changes in home environments as well, they needed that adult connection. And they were asking Mrs. Barber for that. So we reached out to the Positivity Project creators and asked for, some guidance and some assistance. And can we create an elective that would really focus on that character and, building civic education as well. And so that's what we've been working on this year. We're piloting a brand new elective that we call it P2 Leadership. And so our students, now traditionally leadership is seen as, those are the kids that do the rallies and make the dances, fun and do all of those activities. And really kids apply for it. This class has pulled in students from all different subgroups and all different cliques. And it's been so neat to see the way they've connected. In our hearts, we really wish this could have been done in person. Unfortunately, with all of the changes and the switch to virtual learning, our amazing drama teacher, Mrs. Jill Mell, has really taken on this project and found a way to get kids to connect to one another and to their teacher virtually. She has a great project that she did, just highlighting some of the events from 9/11 and how our fellow Americans reached out to one another and really bonded together. And, just kind of using those instances to help our students learn what it is to be a person of character in this world and how it really does affect and little moments have an impact on other people. So that's been really fun to see. Our elective is just growing. We had, I think, 3 sections last semester, and now we have almost 7 complete sections of this elective. Kids love it. Our teachers love it. We actually have 2 of our teachers that teach only 1 section that are begging for more. They want to teach it all day, every day, to as many kids as possible. Some of the other things that we've done as well, pre-COVID, we really worked to do kindness lessons monthly with our whole student population. You can see in the picture, there's to the far right, a student lesson that was done actually this year, even during COVID times, on great gratitude, focusing on that character strength. In somewhat the middle, you see, the karate instructor there. We had a great time with a kindness week last year, about 2 months before COVID hit, where we were able to bring on some guest speakers into our PE classes that really focused on, again, that character and civic education and whole body wellness. So we had a karate instructor, yoga instructor, parkour instructors came and just opened the kids' eyes to another caring adult in the community. And I think, we are taught that when we're becoming educators, that we need to bring in community members, that kids need role models. And we tend to get into schools and we forget about it. And so it's so important. I think the kids really loved seeing someone that wasn't a teacher, that wasn't a boring old, principal or someone to come in and talk to them about character and who they are and how they can be their best. Lastly, the thing I'd like to highlight for our school that we're doing during COVID, we have really embraced over the years doing student recognition lunches for our students of character. We have approximately 65 teachers that each choose 2 students a month. It rotates, so they don't get to choose a student every single month, but once a year. So overall, 130 students approximately get recognized for their character. And pre-COVID, we would rent out the hall across the street and we would treat them to a nice lunch from Luna's, and their parents could come, and we just had a great, tablecloths and flowers and everything like that, and just spent some time really recognizing the character of these specific students. Obviously, with COVID, we have not been able to do that. We couldn't even bring students on campus per se. So if you look in the bottom left, there's just a quick snapshot. We did a lunch drive-through, and I think the kids might have actually liked what they got better because they got a full, Little Caesars pizza rather than just a little plate of pasta and salad. And we got to, holler and hoot when they came through and cheer them on and have a moment to speak with their parents. And it has been really well received, and we're really thankful that we found a way to be able to recognize our students. So speaking of students, I'm going to go ahead and turn it to my fabulous former student, Mackenzie Chang. She is our current 8th grade student representative from Clark.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie Chang, and I'm a student at Clark Intermediate. Speaking on the Positivity Project, we've incorporated the Positivity Project in a lot of our activities that we do in our everyday school lives. And I'm also in the ASB, so I've seen students, they've benefited from these lessons. And at school, we do our character weeks, Positivity Project, lunch activities, and clubs, and they all showcase character strengths such as kindness, gratitude, humility, and more. In our character weeks, we like to include kindness days, and we do little random acts of kindness to our students, our teachers, and our community. And in our lunch activities, pre-COVID, we would have activities at lunch so students could interact with each other, and they also get to have an opportunity to make new friends. Now via Zoom, we also still hold lunch activities, and a few of those activities consist of Black History Jeopardy, which we are now still doing because of February representing the Black history. And we also have Hispanic heritage and more. The Positivity Project, we are focused on a new word each week. And each week we incorporate the word into our lessons that we get to teach at school. And it's not only in our leadership classes, we also get to incorporate the little word of the week in our AV classes, our electives such as choir, film studies, and we also like to incorporate it into our PE classes. And at clubs, we also bring in lots of different people, and these clubs introduce students to new people, giving them a chance to make a new friend and someone they could relate with. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. And I love seeing our Kerman alumni representing as admin. It's so good to see you giving back what you learned from the university and bringing it to life in schools. Thank you so much. All right, Sanger High School.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be able to represent Sanger High School, and I wanted to start by just thanking everyone, Dr. Hannigan, Dr. Bennigan, Dr. Franks, for this, and everyone associated with the Bonner Award. I really am so appreciative of the whole process because I thought it was a great opportunity for us to be reflective with our student and our staff. And, when we did the interviews, it was just heartwarming, and it was really needed because I feel like during this period of time, some of the perspectives from students haven't been highlighted, and this was a great opportunity for that. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm also I want to extend my thanks out to our superintendent, Mrs. Adela Jones, and our area administrator, Jamie Nino, who has helped us through this whole process. And also my deputy principal, Marcos Morales. He has went through and just did an amazing job through this process. So I really extend my appreciation to our staff and everyone associated with that. So I'm going to just jump into it. So Sanger High School prides itself with building lifelong relationships for students and staff. We're a very small community, but we are a community that has very broad spans of diverse cultural and social economic makeup. And so we are creating a sense of belonging for all students is imperative, which is why we consider ourselves one family. Sanger High School's longstanding motto has always been always with pride. And it is a driving force behind the character we build in our students and our staff alike. Each and every student chooses a different path upon graduating from Sanger High School, and whether that be staying in Sanger or going out into the world, they are able to emulate always with pride. And it's amazing to me because I go out in my different, activities in the world, and I always have Sanger connections. And, I'm Sanger alumni. And so I think it's just amazing to be able to bring that back to our community. And I'm just so proud of all that we are able to accomplish at Sanger High School. Today I'm going to be also having John Pena. He's going to jump on and share, yay. And so I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit, and then I'll turn it over to our student representative. He's our ASB president, and he's really a tying force through this whole pandemic to make sure our students are connected. So he's been doing an amazing job. We are proud of the relationships we build with our students, and more importantly, the lasting effects these relationships have on the individuals, because they go out into the real world and put their best foot forward. And that person is always able to represent always with pride. The importance of establishing good character for our nation's youth cannot be underestimated. For our youth, one day will be leaders and policy makers. Sanger High School realizes that it is incumbent on the educational system to invest in purposeful elevation of student character development, as it is a necessary trait to becoming a responsible and productive adult member of a society. Our goal is to build awareness in students so they can self-monitor and assess the behaviors which affect their ability to learn and function as part of a large comprehensive high school. And we're almost 3,000, so we are a very large. Between the two sites, we're actually more than we're at 33, so we're a big site. So as moving forward, we have established our school-wide learning outcomes, and those are our solution seekers, honorable citizens, and skilled communicators, as well as our positive behavioral intervention system, our PBIS, which is our Apache 4. By their senior year and graduate, the students have had that embedded in their curriculum, and they will compose a senior project and portfolio which highlights how they have grown over the course of their 4 years and demonstrate the capacity for which they have fulfilled the SLOs, citing evidence and serving as not only community members, but also demonstrating that in their projects, which is a culmination of their high school experience. And during this, they'll have community members interview them, and they're able to talk about the Apache 4 and also about how they've demonstrated our SLOs throughout their educational experience at Sanger High School. So it's kind of a full circle moment because the community members are able to really have that connection with our students. And so it's a pretty awesome experience. At Sanger High School, developing quality character is embedded in the daily function and curriculum of our school. Our Apache 4 consists of respect, responsibility, integrity, and tolerance, and is taught to all students by their teacher in the beginning and reflected upon during the school year in various venues, including classroom, throughout campus, and even through our Apache notes, which are televised during the school day. Apache 4 continues to have positive impact for Sanger High School climate. positive behavioral intervention support Apache 4, and have really, with our RJP program, have really went through and brought us to the next level. Over the past 3 years, we've continued to refine, seek student input, and really make our PBIS program something that has made our discipline system a lot more collaborative and understandable for all parties involved. We have also done the point of making sure we're holding drawings every week. We're doing drawings even during this pandemic time to honor our students that are showing great skills in PBIS. And I think that we've had a couple lately. I'm trying to see if we have some on our thing, but they have definitely been something that's impactful. We have, in fact, brought all of our students that participated in the Bonner Award onto campus so that they could receive a pizza and some of the stuff that goes along with really representing Sanger High School. Sanger High School Social Science Department has partnered with the Civic Education Center to incorporate more effective civic education curriculum opportunities for all of our students. This was rolled out in our about 2 years ago, and we've continued to grow it. And it's definitely been something, and you can see in our display that we have that just with some of our project lead. We had some of our projects displayed. We also have students that are explaining some of the civic education projects that they have completed. So that's been the opportunity to really grow our civic understanding in our student population. And it's something that has continued to have a tremendous effect on our student population. Our civic learning partnership has continued to flourish, and we have continued to elaborate to the next criterion. Sanger High School has continued to pursue creative opportunities to ensure psychologically safe and caring school environment, including multiple levels of SEL, social emotional learning supports during this time, and especially during the pandemic. And we do a survey every week, and we have people that reach out to all students that are having maybe they need to talk to somebody, they need a little bit of support. And so that's something that we have embedded in our weekly curriculum, and also all the teachers are on board with that. So that's another level of support. We also have student advocates. We have different types of, they are students that are their support systems for our students that sometimes struggle, and really making that personal connections with students. And one of the biggest things that we want to do is we want to make sure we highlight, we are just very much a very dynamic school that has many different levels and many different opportunities for all our students. So at this time, I'm going to send it over to John Pena, because I think it's very important that we always hear from our students, and he can really expand on all the different programs that we have and clubs that are there for our support for our school. So once again, I really appreciate the opportunity, and this has been an amazing process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coronado, and hello to everyone. My name is John Pena, and I'm the ASB president at Sanger High School. And I think that a true test of character is when we face adversity. And this past year has presented us with plenty of adversity, but also plenty of opportunities to overcome that adversity. And I think Sanger High has done a great job of allowing myself and my peers different avenues and different opportunities to be problem solvers, be solution seekers throughout the year. I think the best example of that is our increased following on social media. We launched a heavy campaign on social media over the summer, because we knew that we wanted school to still be more than just the textbooks and the studying and the tests. And I think we've done a great job as a student government class to make school about still having that social interaction with others, even if we're away from campus. We've had many raffles where we do entries. Just this past week, we had our kindness week, where students could participate in different acts of kindness to earn drawings into a raffle. And we gave away, I think, $400, $500 in prizes. And it was just great to see that, how willing students were to engage in random acts of kindness. Another extracurricular activity I'm involved in is Interact Club. And if you look at the picture in the middle of our slide there, that is us delivering Christmas presents to a family in need. During Christmas time, we gave them food, clothes, money, and for the children, we gave them some toys. And that's my favorite event that we do every year, because it really goes to show how something that seems little to us can have a major impact on another family in our community. So that's something I look forward to every year, and it touches me every year, because sometimes we take the little things for granted, and so it's just great to see the effect that we can have on our community. But I also think that Sanger High has done a great job of teaching us those skills in the Apache 4. Coming in as a freshman, it was, I mean, everyone knows responsibility and respect, so I'm going to focus on the other two. But as a ninth grader coming in, integrity and tolerance, those were new to us because those aren't things that you just see on a regular basis. And so I've learned through Sanger High that integrity means doing the right thing, even when no one's looking, and holding yourself accountable. And that tolerance just means being accepting of others and different point of views. And I think some of my classes have allowed very open and honest civil discourse that isn't available even in mainstream media today. So to have our own little communities, diverse communities where we can discuss difficult topics and still be able to sometimes agree to disagree or come to a compromise and realize that we have more in common than we think. It's a great opportunity just to see different perspectives. And really, it's a great job preparing us for university. I'm a senior and I'll be going to college next year. And having experience dealing with different perspectives through Sanger High, I think just prepares me on another level to go out into the world and make my own life and create my own avenues towards success. But just overall, I think Sanger High has done a great job for me and empowered me to be an engaged citizen and be able to network with other people in my community and just really show that we all have something to offer. And so I'd like to thank Sanger High for that, because they've really strengthened my character.
Wow, thank you so much. I love how you captured the true definition of character in one sentence, how we face and respond to adversity with those character skills that we have. That's just incredible. Thank you so much. What I'd like to do right now is just for 10 seconds, because this is a showcase. We knew we were going to hear from each school. Let's just take a 10-second stretch, even though you don't want to, if you don't want to move. And I know I can't see you, the ones viewing, but let's take a stretch, stand up, do what you need to do. I usually have like a yoga picture I show. Not that I do yoga, but it just reminds me at least to move around a bit. Zoom fatigue is real. All right. Okay, see, we're all refreshed now. I am going to hand it over to Dr. Joshua Shapira. He'll explain his school. And in his school, he's representing both Clovis North and Granite Ridge. So we'll hear from students from each. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Shapiro.
Thank you, Dr. Hannigan, and thank you for that introduction. I too also want to congratulate all of the individuals, schools who are here today who have received this award. We know the work that it takes, and especially our Clovis Unified Schools as our sister schools, was we partner together and we share a lot of the same ideas. But the good thing about Clovis Unified is the opportunity to actually do things some different. So though you're going to hear me speak a little bit about some of the things that some of our other schools have already presented, we also have our own unique challenges and situations as well. I too also want to thank our superintendent, Dr. Ema O'Farrell, my direct supervisor, Mr. Darren Taki, and my staff at Granite Ridge and Clovis North for all of their hard work. And this award, along with our students, is the reason is because of them. Real quickly, before we get started, I would like to introduce my students before we get going, and then they will also present later on, but I'll let them go first. Dorinda, if you please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dorinda Florence. I'm a Granite Ridge student, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Broshawn Jackson, and I am a senior at Clovis North, and I am the ASB president.
We're really proud of our two students and all of our students on our campus. And real quickly for Broshan, Broshan is our first African-American ASB president at Clovis North, and that's something we're really proud of and excited for. As you will hear as we go through some of our situations that we're dealing with and how we are addressing these. As Dr. Hannigan mentioned, we are a 7 through 12 center, so we have Granite Ridge and Clovis North. We're around 3,700 students, 350 employees, around 140 teachers on campus. The beauty of this site is we are one big building, really, where all the students are housed. And if you've ever been here, it's a pretty unique opportunity to have the collaboration for teachers and students to be so close to each other, and that transition from 8th grade to the high school is just seamless because the students have been here for a long time. But the way I've looked at this presentation that I'm really excited about is I kind of broke it down from the criterion. And I look at the first criterion, which is school promotes core ethical values as a basis of good character. And I think this is one thing that all of us are the reason why we're here today, is for developing this good character of our students. Clovis North has been around and Granite Ridge have been around for 14 years. And from the beginning, they developed a motto, a code of the North, they call it, which has 10 different key concepts that students follow. And those concepts are: live every day with courage, take pride in your work, do what has to be done, when you make a promise, keep it, talk less and say more, make a difference, take care of one another, together we are better, leave it better than you found it, and character counts even when no one is looking. These signs of the Code of the North are all over our campus, but in huge, and in the A building on both sides of Granite Ridge and Clovis North, so students see it. The beauty of this also is this has also gone down to our elementary schools. We have 5 feeder schools that also talk about the Code of the North, and they develop those character traits at an early age. So when students come to our campus, they have an understanding of what Granite Ridge and Clovis North stand for. As discussed previously, we too also have adopted the Positivity Project, which has been a tremendous impact on our campus. It focuses on students examining their own individual character within themselves. It seeks out the areas of strengths and weaknesses, but it also provides strategies and opportunities for individuals to grow. And with that being said, I want to start with Dorinda. She can share with you what the Positivity Project has been for her on the Granite Ridge side.
Thank you. So the Positivity Project for me has been a really great opportunity for our students to be able to learn new vocabulary and to learn how to become a better leader in themselves. Essentially, we use the Positivity Project every week. In my leadership class, we go over different words and their meanings, and we have great conversations in breakout rooms, and we watch a lot of motivational videos. And I think it's very productive, and it's very helpful, because it helps to teach us new morals and new skills, and to be able to become a better leader, not only for ourselves, but for the other students on campus. And I think that it's amazing that we are able to kind of introduce this type of project to the rest of our students, especially now that, we're not able to, we weren't able to come on to campus. And so being able to do that really helped to show our students that positivity is very key, especially in these very hard times, and that keeping a positive attitude and seeing that other students are positive about it kind of helps them to feel a lot more positive on how we can help them and can help our community and our society to keep their heads held high, and to always believe that situations can and will get better.
Perfect. Thank you. Along with that, as Mr. Pena from Sanger alluded to as well, we're working on civil discourse amongst individuals. And I love how he said, even if they can't do it in the media, they're having it at his school. And we are also at our site working with our students to be able to have these civil discourse, whether through Positivity Project or just challenging ourselves as individuals to make it better, make a difference, and together we are better. And with that somewhat motto as well, we have really truly internally looked at all of our systems. And recently, my first year, this is my third year as a principal here, but my first year here, we had a situation that occurred with at Granite Ridge where some inappropriate messaging happened on social media. And I had an individual from the community call me and say to me that as a white administrator, I didn't know what it's like to be for our colored students, students of color on our campus. And it hit me hard. And the incident got out in the community, as you heard. And so it took me back because we were doing things on our campus and we thought we were making a difference. And what we realized was that some of our students didn't have a voice. And from that, we created a group of our African-American students, Student Council. And it was a small group that was able to meet with me individually and just tell me what it's like to be a Black student on this campus. And it was really important for me to provide them the opportunity to share their experience and their perspective. And I'm gonna have Broshan here in a second speak real quickly about our group, but what came out of this group has been so powerful. And we were able to create a video working with United Way that we presented to our staff. And I'll let him speak a little bit about it, but it just has been very moving and very powerful. And I'll turn it over to Broshan so he can kind of explain what that council does and what the video was all about.
Thank you, Dr. Shapiro. Yeah, I just wanted to say that the African American Student Leadership Council is it's new to Clovis North. We've never had something like this, and I'm honored to be a part of it and kind of lead it in the right direction. But so yeah, like he said, we made this video basically where we were just voicing our opinions on what it's like to be African American on a predominantly white campus, or even white area for that matter. And basically we just got a bunch of African American leaders, and we just got asked questions about, like, just simple questions like what it feels like when the teacher will say the N-word while reading a book in class, and how that makes us feel and what it means to us. And honestly, I wasn't expecting the video to take off as much as it did, but I had a ton of people coming up to me, but saying like, "Hey, I saw your video. That was really, really well done." And yeah, so we did that, and then we also have a diversity council, which is basically all it's made up of students of all ethnicities and races, and it's kind of put together, and they basically just talk about ways to overcome the, I guess, cultural tension that is on our campus, because it's on every campus. It's not necessarily intentional. It's just how some students are raised. But so that diversity council basically works hand in hand with staff. And this leads me to the next group, which is basically like a focus group that has been made amongst the staff of Clovis North that my mother's actually on. She's a teacher at Granite Ridge. So I get to hear firsthand how that is moving and within the school and how it indirectly affects kids. And I just think that's really big. That's a really big step in community, especially in today's world. I mean, with the recent events of 2020 and even now still, like, there's just so much going on that I think it's important that these councils and groups are just doing everything they can to make students aware of the severity of certain situations. But that could also lead to, mental health issues, especially in the times like a pandemic, where, I mean, some students need that in-person interaction. They need all this, they need attention that maybe not getting at home. There's a bunch of stuff going on in their lives that we probably don't even know about. And I think Clovis North does an amazing job with helping with that, as we have a mental health club that basically just does mental health club and leadership always collaborate and do certain things for students. Like, for example, last year for finals, was it last year? Yeah, like I guess 2020 for finals, we had students go and put like positive messages, positive notes on cars. And like even now we're doing things like, we just got back to school. And so we have different groups of students at different stations, just like welcoming students back. And because, a lot of that means a lot to some kids that we don't even, you might not even know. And we'll just give them like a little positive no and some candy. Or even in class for leadership, we're able to come on campus and we write basically postcards for every senior at our school that could be personalized. You get to pick who you want, and if you know them, you could write them a nice little message. And for all you know, that could make somebody's day. Like they might not be getting that attention. So those are some of the main points. Other things we're doing, like we've been more active on our social media as well. I feel like that's a common, that's something every school has in common now. And we just started doing like senior spotlights where there's like a random senior that's picked that's involved in something on campus, and they just get spotlighted on the Instagram. So those are the kind of the main things that I feel like Clovis North is doing, and I just think that we're taking big steps in the right direction.
Thank you, Roshan. Yeah, it's been for some of our students, a challenging time, as all these students have pointed out. But one of the things I really appreciate Roshan was really talking about is a lot of times at our school, we know we've focused sometimes on the top and the bottom, but the kids in the middle are the ones who are being left out. And so we're really being strategic on focusing on our kids, but kind of going back to the equity piece. After that video we showed to our staff, as Roshan mentioned, we created a focus group, as he said, and we are currently working with that focus group. It's about 40 to 50 teachers that kind of joined in. And from that focus group, we have two different things going on. We have a 21-day equity challenge that's provided through United Way, and we've broken them into groups. And then also we have a group that's broken off from the focus group that is doing a book study about how to be anti-racist. It's a book called How to Be Anti-Racist. And so we are challenging our teachers to have these conversations inside the classroom about equity across the board. And I can't be prouder than what our students have done and what our staff is doing and taking on these challenges. As Roshan also mentioned, we do have a diversity council, and that council does focus on key things. They have Awareness Month, which singles out a particular culture 1 month, and then sometimes a disability or a group of people that need to be discussed for that month. And then also we created our first Unity Week last year, which unfortunately happened right during the week that we were released on the 13th, was the last day we had it. So we didn't get to do everything that we wanted to do, but we're looking at utilizing that diversity council more effectively. And the beauty of the diversity council is it's not just students, but it's also involving staff members. And so we're really excited about where we're headed. And I will tell you, we know we have a long ways to go. And though we're taking these small steps, it's starting to move forward, which I really am excited to see. When I also looked into the second criterion, where we're talking about fostering an intentional approach to core values in all phases of life, we looked at quite a few things that are happening on campus. One is we started to implement a systematic PBIS system on the Granite Ridge site first. We were just in our beginning stages of developing those behavior expectations for all students. And we're hoping to, as time goes on, unfortunately, COVID kind of took it out right in the middle of us implementing it with all of our students on the campus. But we're hoping as time goes on, we're going to continue to implement the PBIS system at the junior high first, and then move that forward and continue those expectations. Some of the things that we also offer on our campus it's called Clovis Supports and Interventions, and also our peer counseling. Students are really involved in with students that have situations that occur. I'm gonna let Dorinda speak a little bit on some of the experiences that she sees with our peer counselors on this campus.
Thank you. So with peer counseling, it's just basically a group of trained students who basically are trained to listen to the students on campus and to help provide a plan of action and to help provide a situation improvement for any type of situation, whether it is problems with friends, with family. Sometimes it could be just mental health issues. They help peers to brainstorm and to kind of help, themselves to figure out like great solutions onto how to fix their own problems and to try to navigate their way through their situations. Everything is confidential that peer counselors and peers talk about. So it's nothing that's going to be posted on our social media accounts. It's nothing that's going to be shared with the rest of our students. It's confidentially between a peer and a peer counselor. They also help with Red Ribbon Week and St. Baldrick's Day. They help to plan that and to basically get students involved with it. They're also in charge of helping students, who come in midway through the year to kind of feel a little bit more welcome and feel a little bit more appreciated to be able to be on to the campus and to be a new student. So peer counseling is something that really, I think, helps because it helps our students to feel comfortable on our campus and know that there are people here that are here to listen and who are here to provide a safe, appreciative area where we can all talk and we can find our way through our campus.
Thank you, Dorinda. A couple other things just want to highlight also, as Broshan mentioned about our social emotional support, we are really fortunate to have a full-time mental health provider who works with our students. This is a very difficult time, as some have already mentioned. So we have created during our intervention time, that's right after our school, we have some opportunities for yoga for our students and it's different wellness classes, but not just for our students, we also have this for our staff because we know our staff are also experiencing an array of emotions because with their comfortability with COVID and everything and being in the classroom with students. So we've also provided yoga opportunities for our students. We have safe rooms for other students at lunchtime and after school, and also a de-escalation room that has actually been grant funded that was provided from our Clovis Foundation to support our students who just need a timeout, who just need to get away and have that moment to refocus and to be able to get back in class. Also with this is our transitions department. We utilize a transition, which is a full-time coordinator, counselor, and 10 support staff who work with our at-risk students, our severely socially economically disadvantaged, English learners, and our foster youth. And they work with these individuals to provide individual support. They goal set with these students. They provide social, emotional, and academic support as well. They provide families with resources depending on the situation. They provide school-related opportunities. They work with our students from 5th grade to 12th. So they will go to the elementary, bring kids to a school, to Clovis North or Granite Ridge event so they can see what it's like if they've never had that opportunity. And I'm extremely grateful to say that we've had 100% graduation over the past several years for these, what we would consider our transition students. And so this program is working effectively and we're really excited. The last thing, I'm trying to hurry up because I know we have 2 schools, so we have quite a bit going on, but the civic action piece, we were fortunate to be during the Creek fires mentioned. Sorry, our bail schedule here. As when we had a creek fire, the Clovis North and Granite Ridge site was actually an evacuation site for them. So we had around 300 animals that were housed here along with individuals. And our clubs that were on this campus really came together to fundraise and provide food for the dogs and animals and provide resources for families. But lastly, that's really important that we take a lot of pride in is our unified sports and service leadership class. Service leadership class is a combination of gen ed students and sped students that work together in leadership opportunities. We pair them up, and our unified sports is the same. It's an athletic competition for our unified individuals, which is our sped students and our general ed students who compete in basketball, soccer, track and field. And Broshan, we only have a little bit of time, so I'll give you just real quickly to talk about the experience and about the unified sports that you worked within.
Yeah, so pre-COVID, we were always doing stuff with unified. So basically what a unified team is, if you don't know, it's a team mixed with special education students and general education, and they just compete against each other. Basically, for the special ed children, so they can get that, I guess, extracurricular experience that they might not get outside of it. And in leadership, we would actually, it'd be like once every 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. We would go out to the fields and help with track meets and basically just kind of cheer on all the kids, not just the ones for your school, but we would always cheer on the kids and just kind of go out there and have a fun time with them rather than make sure they have a fun time. So, yeah.
Perfect. So lastly, like I just said, I want to thank Dr. Hannigan and the panel for this exciting opportunity. And we are extremely proud to be a Bonner Center a Character and Civic Award recipient. So thank you and congratulations to everyone again.
Thank you so much. And special thank you to Brashawn and Dorinda. We hear you, we see you, we appreciate you. Your work is more impactful than any program or initiative us adults can implement. So keep up the amazing work and thank you for what you're doing. Okay, I am gonna hand it over to John Muir.
Thank you, Jessica. Good morning. My name is James J. I'm one of the vice principals here at John Muir Middle School in Corcoran. This morning, along with me is Aubrielle Williams. She's our 8th grade ASB president, and she is going to be sharing about her perspective as being a student and a student leader here at John Muir. We are all about the relationship here at John Muir. If you're not familiar with our school or with Corcoran, our school kind of sits in the shadow of 2 very infamous correctional facilities. And so being neighbors with Corcoran State Penitentiary, you know, it does kind of color our community in a lot of ways. So we are all about hope. We are all about relationships. In fact, our mission statement is that John Muir is a beacon destination where we nurture relationships. And we do that, and we list out in our mission statement the ways that we're going to do that. But we focus in on being a beacon of hope and nurturing relationships, because we know and we've seen firsthand how impactful that is in this small community. We live we work and live in this community that often doesn't see a whole lot of hope, despite being the agricultural center almost of the Central Valley. We see things grow and things are harvested all the time from the land, but that's contrasted with a lack of hope for people. And so we have taken that to heart as a school, and we want to be that place for these students, 6th through 8th grade, to come and be connected not just to one another, but to positive adults who care about them, and hopefully they will learn some great academics along the way as well. So what I want to do is I'm going to pass it to Aubrey, and she's just going to share with you some of her experiences in ASB and particularly the ways that being an ASB and being a student leader has helped her to develop relationships and helped our school really become a place of positivity. So I'm going to hand it to you, Bree.
Good morning. My name is Aubrielle Williams. I go by Bree. I'm the 8th grade student body president at John Muir. There are many points where I would say ASB has helped me grow. I would say one of them would be with public speaking. I know from my 6th grade year, I was very shy and quiet. I did one public speaking to the younger students, and I would say that would help me a lot to grow. There are many things that we have done as a school that has helped students of all grades communicate within COVID-19. One of the things we did was start with Hello Week. I think that had helped many students because we were able to communicate while being online. And I know many students have felt very lonely throughout being at home doing school. So for Start with Hello Week, we did Flipgrid, which is basically like a YouTube for students, where we could all go in, like videos, leave comments that students have made. some of the questions were like favorite song, favorite animal, favorite color. We just answered that, and it would allow students to get to know each other. Another thing we did for that week was we did, at the time, Renegade was a big dance on TikTok, so we did that because it was a school appropriate dance that all students could communicate through. I think Start with Hello Week is very important because it was a school shooting and it impacted a lot of lives, which I think us not celebrating, but learning from it and being able to communicate helps others so they don't feel lonely and could help not cause a bad outcome. That's all I have to say, so I will pass it back to Mr. J.
Thank you, Bree. That Start with Hello is just really, that's indicative of what we're about. We want all of our students to be able to point to at least one other student and one other adult on this campus that they have a connection with, that they can utilize as support. We're a Capturing Kids' Hearts school and have been working with Capturing Kids' Hearts for the last 2 years. And we really have taken to heart the idea that everything begins and ends with relationships. We have a lot of students who bring with them to school trauma. We have students who have been traumatized by their environment, by their relationships, by their economics, by their skin color, and they bring that with them to school every day. And it's not possible for us to educate our students without getting to know our students. We're big believers in helping students co-regulate what's going on in their own brains and in their own bodies. We want our students, when they come on this campus, to know that they're physically safe and they're emotionally safe at the same time. So that once all of those things are in place, once our students are connected with the adults that they see, with the other students that they're in classes with, once all of those things are beginning to work, then and only then do our students begin to learn the academics that we want them to learn. And they're doing that as well. We've seen our test scores go up over the last years. We've seen our students' ability to read and comprehend. Our students are involved for the last 3 years. Our students have been involved in the space program. We've had teams who put together biological experiments that went up to the International Space Station as part of the Student Space Flight Experiments program. And so the academics are happening as well. And for us, of course, as educators, that's a priority. We want our students to learn and to grow and to have critical thinking and problem solving skills. But we know here in Corcoran that what has to come first is the relationship. We have to communicate with our students. We have to be sensitive as staff to recognize what our students' behavior is communicating to us. Because our students, like I said, they come with lots of trauma, and so their brains are in different states. Some of them are already in the fight or flight. Some of them are in the hide mode, and all of those have to be taken into consideration before we're able to do the good work of educating. So we're really thankful and honored to be included among these really great public schools in this area. And at John Muir, we really feel fortunate that that this community desires to grow. It desires to be better tomorrow than it is today. And so our whole school district, from our superintendent, Mr. Malo, all the way down to every staff who works for this district, is all about helping our students at whatever grade level realize they can be successful, they can be productive and that there is great life opportunities out there for each and every one of them. And so that's really what we strive to do. I just want to thank you for including us and for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this. I want to thank our superintendent, Mr. Merlot, my principal, Mr. Whitmore, our board. They're all very visionary when it comes to what's going to work with kids. We know that all of our kids are not the same, but we do know that all of our kids are unique in the experiences they're bringing to school. And so at all levels, Corcoran Unified has really allowed us to figure out what works with our kids and to pursue it relentlessly. And so that's what we do. So thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone else.
Thank you both so much. And thank you for putting a light on trauma-informed practices. We know if we don't look through a trauma-informed lens and actually provide those opportunities for emotional and physical safety, character building is going to be really hard to do. So really, really appreciate that perspective and added layer you have provided. Thank you. I am going to hand it over now to Alta Sierra.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to thank Dr. Farrell, our superintendent, for leading the good charge for all of our students in our district. Good morning. It's an honor to be here and to be a recipient of the Honor Award. I am Daryl Katosh, and I am one of the learning directors at Alta Sierra. And I would also like to introduce one of our star Bruins, our student body president, Addison Isley. If we can put her on the screen real quick, let her give one of her friendly waves. So, you know, as we process through, you know, all the great things that we're doing here at Alta Sierra, and I would just like to echo what Dr. Shapiro said, you know, the principal at Clovis North and Granite Ridge, is all of our campus are truly equally unique. And so it's great to hear all the great things that we're doing for students across our valley. You know, our motto at Alta Sierra is building unity, pride, and champions. And we accomplish that through evaluating the whole child in mind, body, and spirit. And, you know, I think the most important thing that we can teach our students at Alta Sierra is to be, you know, active, honorable participants in their communities. And in Clovis Unified, you know, we deeply are committed to educating our students about character, values, and civic responsibility. It's at the heart of what we do at Alta Sierra in our work to develop character within our students inside and outside of the classroom, by teaching them to be, to value civic responsibility. And although instruction certainly looks different as our nation adjusts to a global pandemic, Alta Sierra students, they stay devoted to character development through digital learning. And we're proud of them for staying in that and putting their best efforts forward. So today, you know, I'm going to introduce 4 areas that promote core values, and then our great student Addison will highlight and kind of explain a little bit of how that looks on our campus. And so our first one is, you know, we focus on character traits, trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. And we try to show our students that they can have a positive impact on each other in our school and with our community. So I will let Addison highlight how that looks on our campus.
Okay, hi, I'm Addison Isley. So some of the things that we do to show our character is we do lunches for new students, or we did last year, we couldn't do it this year. But so we go and find the new students and we just sit and have lunch with them and talk with them so they don't feel so alone. And that helps their transition to middle school. We also do the coat drive. We couldn't do it this year, and we also do the canned food drive, which we were able to do this year. In my leadership class, we did the caring and sharing, and that's when we volunteer and we can buy presents for students in need. We wrote thank you letters to the firemen, the first responders, and the teachers. We do this thing called the turkey trot where we run and students in need get turkeys for Thanksgiving. We also recognize our staff members. For example, we do a luncheon for the cafeteria staff and the custodial staff. And we also do the Student of the Month Award, which recognizes students who best exemplify the pillars of character.
Thank you, Addison. And another area, and it was kind of highlighted here today, was Character Strong. And it's a school-wide program, and it teaches character development such as patience, kindness, honesty, respect, selflessness, forgiveness, commitment, and certainly humility. Our digital lessons are taught school-wide in academic block and PE, and in our leadership and peer counseling classes. So I'll have Addison kind of highlight some of that for you.
Okay, so some of the lessons that we've done are stress and how to handle it. We did one called A Name is Important, and that is teaching students the importance of knowing someone's name because it shows respect towards them. We also did a lesson on gratitude, goal setting, giving back to your community, accepting and encouraging others, choices and consequences, and recognizing your talents and working together.
Another area we'd like to highlight is our character lessons have been taught through our platform of StudySync in our AB classes. So Addison?
So in my class, we recently just finished Mother to Son, which is a poem by Langston Hughes, and this teaches perseverance. One of the metaphors in the poem is the staircase may not be a crystal one, but you can still make it. And this means to me that just because you're going through a tough time, you can still get through it and persevere.
And one of the other areas, certainly not an exhaustive list, but is our signage that we put on our campus to encourage good character. At Alta Sierra, our motto again is building unity, pride, and champions. So we have this signage on our campus in our gym. It's supposed to be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. And so I'll let Addison kind of highlight some other areas.
So these signs encourage good character, and they just help to motivate us and help us throughout the day.
Thank you, Addison. It's certainly great to have students back on our campus and continue to this good work. Alta Sierra would like to thank Dr. Hannigan and the review panel, and congratulations to all the other recipients today.
Thank you both so much, and good luck to Safe Return this week. I know I've been hearing great things.
Thank you.
Okay, Liberty Middle School. We are going to hand it off to Liberty. We are traveling to Lemoore.
Well, fantastic. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Hannigan, and everybody else participating. I've been taking some notes for things that I would love to add to what we do at our school as well. But I also would like to thank my principal, Mr. Lewis, and our superintendent, Ms. Hunt, because with their work and our district leadership team, we've been fully open as a school since November. And that's really been a difficult process, but it's also been one of dedication and passion. And it's definitely been worth it seeing our kids here every day and really continuing to do our work of character development. So I'd like to begin with a little bit of our character development journey as a school. We started with some events like character conference. 7th graders would begin this school year, their time here, their 7 and 8 year of schooling by learning about what good character is and how to demonstrate it. But kind of an event, and it dissipates throughout the year. And then we also had Rachel's Challenge, where we would also start talking about kindness, how to show it. And again, excellent events. And then coming back throughout the year also, but again, those things, they dissipate as we get farther from the event. And then, we always have things like random acts of kindness that we participate in and demonstrate, sorry. Sorry about that. We are fully open, so there's classes going on. And, but where our character development really continued, and I would say definitely grew, was with the adoption of our school's new vision. And with that vision, we wanted to, our staff set out and determine this vision to radically change the community of Lemoore. And it seems like an overwhelming task, or definitely a daunting task of how does a school do that? And one of the things that we have in our vision is, developing a sense of community. And to develop a sense of community, like, we need trust, we need dialogue, and we need people to interact in positive ways. And so one of our real sustaining steps, I would say, in our character development teaching is our advisory program. I have another program I'm also going to share, our Patriot Pals, to go through. But for advisory, our advisory program is not just as a place where we disseminate information, or we keep track of students and their grades and things like that. Being a middle school, students can easily kind of get lost in the cracks. But our advisory program begins with a teacher being assigned a group of students for both years. When I was a teacher in the classroom, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I was too excited to talk about our school, but I'll come to that in a second. But when I was a teacher in the classroom, I had students that I was assigned to for 2 years. And we say that all students are our students, but the advisory students, I'm their parents while they're on campus. I double check how they are doing. I check in with them every day, and I teach them during our advisory lessons what good character looks like. And this turns it from an event into a sustained ongoing process that we talk about not only weekly with actual lessons that we either develop with our counselor, or teachers have even taken time to develop their own lessons to teach as well. And those lessons kind of set the foundation of the learning that we are then going to be practicing sustained every day going forward for that. So one of the biggest things I'd like to say about our character development process and our advisory classes is that it is ongoing throughout the whole year and always a focus. We go through each of our Pride expectations we have up here with individual lessons, what it looks like to be prepared in all these different situations. And then we go out and practice. And then we use that practice to give students feedback on how they're doing and why it's important. One of the big things for me and our staff is always providing why. Like, why drives us. Any procedure and expectation, we make sure students understand why that helps them not only in their learning, but how it helps society and our community continue to flourish and to grow. A couple other things just about like how the advisory classes function is they really do act like a place where we can start fostering that sense of community that we want to grow out to the wider community. Students generally start hanging out with their advisory teachers at the beginning of the year. They come up, break at lunch, and then those advisory students also form a bond as they go through their 2 years while we have them here at Liberty. And that continues to feed on, build on from our elementary schools, where our district vision, is where we are all about each one of our students, each one of our staff, all about making all of us better together. So it's really about learning, sustained learning and feedback on what makes people successful and how communities can function well. Now that's for everybody. That's what everybody needs. That's what everybody gets. But one of our more successful programs I'd like to share is about our Patriot Pals. Now, our Patriot Pals is definitely driven by data. So, either referral data or referrals to the counselor, but also recommendations by parents and teachers for students who are in need, and in need in whatever way. What our Patriot Pals is that any adult on campus can volunteer to be assigned to any student in need. And that student and adult then you know, consciously build a relationship to make sure that that student is successful while they're here at our school and beyond. I'm not sure at our latest count, but we have, I think, about 35 teachers on campus, but we have more than Patriot Pal adults than that, down to our cook, our office staff, our teachers, our paraprofessionals. And how this really functions is that a student who is in need of, you know, emotional support, behavioral support, even academic, has an adult they can go to virtually at any time during the day and talk to. If I have a brief time just to share, you know, a story from yesterday. I engaged a little bit too long with a student that I should have pulled out of. I looking back, I see the signs. I'm like, oh, he was starting to get a little bit agitated. I didn't disengage from that interaction, and I unfortunately allowed it to escalate. So in that circumstance, the student, right, and then maybe I'm very busy going to all kinds of classrooms and helping out as our instructional coach. That's my introduction, and you know, this could just be an incident that happened and then nobody learned from it. But I get the chance to see the students in the office talking with our office manager. And I just casually kind of walked over and just see what's going on. And I hear her say, student, I have another student here, so I'm not gonna use names. I'm sorry you were feeling that way. And did you get a chance to tell Mr. Sears how you were feeling about any of that? And, you know, he's talking to her. He's like, no, but I know he does listen. I was just mad. And this is a student that it was really hard to get talking to and building a relationship. And here he is sitting in the office talking to the office manager about his feelings, about his frustrations. And then a little bit later than that, I get the student walking up to me. We sit down for a second and we talk. We have a conversation. He gives me a letter apologizing and thanking me, and letting me know. He told me, "No, I know you are trying to do what's best for me, and I'm sorry that I had this behavior." And that's, I think, the power of the Patriot Pals, is that our counselor cannot handle and talk to all of our students that might have needs, but if we can assign an adult to work with students, be their coach, be their mentor, just be their friend, someone who will listen to them and give them a more adult perspective. Being able to disperse our adult adult wisdom to students and be able to build deeper relationships with them is just another aspect of how we build a sense of community here at our school that we're seeing extend beyond our walls to the community in general, out to all of Lemoore. So those are two programs I'd like to highlight. And then just another of our sustained kind of things that is ongoing daily, I would like to introduce Giselle, one of our students, to talk about our expectations.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Giselle, and I'm an 8th grader here at Liberty Middle School, and I'm here to talk about Patriot Pride and how it impacts students and myself as well. So starting off, Patriot Pride is an acronym like other schools have. What it stands for is prepared, respect, integrity, dependable, and effort. But it's very important here at Liberty Middle School because what it stands for, it's like the building blocks that Liberty supplies students with to build their good character that they know everybody can have. And they're the characteristics that are going to help us in later life. And being here the full 2 years here at Liberty Middle School, I have a lot of friends that coming into middle school, it's not just my friends, but students, they don't really know who they are, and they're trying to figure that out in our age right now. And Liberty really has helped us with that because they are supplying us with these things that are going to help us, like I said, later in life, and doing different things like an advisory where we are doing every Monday we have an advisory lesson that goes over different situations that you might see in life, like stress and how to handle things like that. and just how to be a good person all in all. And during distance learning, it's really been kind of testy because everybody's stuck at home, they don't know what to do. Things are just like very different. And Liberty Middle School has really helped out with that because they understand the importance of being in class and in person, and they've done everything they can to get us here, and here we are. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle.
Thank you both so much. Again, I see the thread of relationships and community building and how important that is for true character to permeate not in this just in the school, but also in the community. So thank you so much. Last but not least, our final school of the day, Kasner Intermediate.
Thank you so much. It's hard listening to everybody. I'm just so impressed, and now I'm nervous because you guys are all so amazing. So I'm Allison Giacobi. I'm a learning director here at Kasner, and Taylor Tolbert is with me. She is one of our leadership students. Say hi, Taylor.
Hello, my name is Taylor.
So this is my 5th year at Kasner. My previous 4 years, I was the GIS, and this is my 1st year as a learning director. And what we focus on at Kasner, of course, academics are important, of course. But I think that what we really try to focus on is you can't get those academics unless everything else is okay too. And so what Mr. J said really resonated with me because everything I tried to do in the Discipline Center revolved around a trauma-informed lens as well. So what we try to do at Kasner is we try to have students' needs met. No opportunity is out of reach for our students, that we can reach all students and that there's something for everyone. And that kind of is a way of saying a fair break for every kid. And that's one of Doc Buchanan, our founding superintendent, that's one of his sayings, is a fair break for every kid. And that's what we really try to focus on here at Kasner. So with that trauma-informed lens, we really try to focus on a strong social emotional learning and support. So we utilize Second Step, which many of you have heard about or touched on, but we use that program in our classrooms, and we've continued it virtually. It's not quite the same experience, but they have their journals, and teachers are still learning about students through the Second Step program. Our school psychologists and our counselors do monthly videos on mental health awareness. Our counselors created a virtual counseling center, and they created a virtual calming room. So you can go to the room and there's like calming music and meditation techniques and things like that, which, of course, in person would be better, but at least it's something that we can do for students while we are in distance learning, although now we're back on campus as of yesterday. So another thing that we focus on is that everyone on campus can be an educator. Our school resource officer started the Latino Club here at Kasner, and after doing the club for I think 2 years, he wanted to have a Latino conference. So we put together the first junior high Latino student success conference for Clovis Unified. And so our school resource officer went from being seen as someone who was involved in discipline to being a mentor and a support for all students, not just students of Latino descent, but any ethnicity could join the club, and he encouraged all students to join the club. We focus on inclusion. There's a big push from our robotics teacher to include women and girls in robotics and computer science. We added a female computer applications teacher this year, and our teacher, Mr. Oraz, does a really good job, our lead teacher does a really good job of encouraging girls who are typically underrepresented in that subject matter to join computer science and robotics. We have a collaborative mentoring program that was started here at Kastner by our functional life skills teacher, David Parks. It is a program where our functional life skills students and other students with special needs, our autism program students as well, pair with general education students in art class. And Mrs. Parks educates our general education students on students' disabilities and health impairments and things like that. So it's a learning piece, but then it's also an inclusion and connection piece for our students. So those are just some of our programs that we have. And then I'm going to turn it over to Taylor to talk about our fun stuff, our other fun things that we do here on campus, like our rec room and leadership things and clubs.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, like, I've been a leadership student at Kastner this is my second year now, and I've gotten so many opportunities to interact with the student body. The picture on the lower left is a game we got to set up during lunch, and it's just nice because during leadership, I'd always learn about how I can interact with students and how I can make them feel more included, just like get to participate in all those things. And like Miss Giacobbe said, we also had a rec room. Of course, we couldn't do it during online learning, but students would be rewarded with tickets to go into the rec room where they would get to play foosball and just a lot of games. And it was really cool to see all the students that participated and that would work hard to be able to go there. At Kastner, I also wanted to add it that the teachers and staff are also very supportive of all the students there. I've always felt like they always wanted to see me succeed and prosper through all my years there and continuing throughout Kastner. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
We're good. Go ahead, Jess.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing. And thank you for all the schools. I just want to stop for a second and give all the schools a round of applause. So wherever you're at, a round of applause, a snap, however you want to celebrate, let's just do that. This has been incredibly inspiring. And we just encourage you to continue this work. And next year, we're going to be accepting applications for our elementary level. So we just want to continue hearing what and showcasing what our amazing schools are doing in the Central Valley. I want to hand it to Jack for a couple final words, and then we will close up the showcase for the day. Dr. Jack Benega?
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. This has been a remarkably full session and wonderful to hear from the administrators and the students. I hope those of you who are going to become teachers took some notes about the excellent activities going on. So here's what I saw. All of the schools realize that academics are important for our democracy. We have to have academic skills to build on and improve our democracy. But listening and caring about others is absolutely crucial. And that came through in each of the schools. Each one does it differently, but each school has this as an emphasis. So you've got mental health and social emotional learning emphasis at Clovis High School. And you've got positive human contact was mentioned by both the principal, Amanda and Madison, is crucial to the success. If students don't feel comfortable, they're not going to do well academically. Clark Intermediate School, take care of each other, they said. Lifelong relationships at Sanger High School. Civil discourse at Clovis North and Granite Ridge. Their slogan is "Together we are better," giving students voice. Mental health emphasis. John Muir Elementary School was particularly touching because of their proximity to the prison, and they wanted to give hope and relationships the primary emphasis for their students so that they could achieve academically. Working with the whole child in mind, body, and spirit at Alta Sierra Intermediate School, working and playing together at Kasner, Liberty Middle School, developing a sense of community. The theme is consistent all the way through. If you can't make students feel like they have relationships, that they can have civil discourse, that they can communicate with each other in a civil manner, which we've not seen much politically at the national scene over the last 4 years, we're not going to help students academically. And that's really what this award is all about. And these are excellent, excellent schools and great representatives. So congratulations to all the schools.
Yes, the final congratulations to you all. And just a reminder to follow us. We have finally jumped on the social media platform. So follow us on Facebook or Twitter. I know we're not at the Instagram level yet, but please follow. Let's build our community and just continue sharing best practices together. And again, just as a final note, I encourage you as the director and on behalf of all of our advisory board to just continue asking yourself, how are you integrating character and civic education in your classroom, in your schools? And is it just as much as a priority as any other academic initiative on your campus? So just continue challenging yourself to integrate this work, and you'll just see a tremendous impact, like the impact